Okay, I'm coming right back. I like to make my videos a little bit shorter so they're in bite-sized chunks and so that it's really clear what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to talk about, oh my goodness, it's like I completely forgot. Oh, I remember. Okay, so I wanted to talk about getting a diagnosis or finding out that you have lipedema. And I'm just going to share how I sort of responded, but also this had a lot to do with a lot of mindset work I was doing before I got my diagnosis. I see a lot of women sharing and posting that they are devastated when they get a lipedema diagnosis. And my theory is they likely got a diagnosis and a general practitioner or vascular surgeon or someone said there was nothing that they could do to get rid of the lipedema. When I first spoke with one of my practitioners, that's what they said. They said, there isn't anything to get rid of this or to cure it. And I was like, I totally understand that. And there are so many different options for treatment. And a lot of them are done over in Europe. So if I need to go to Europe in order to get some of those treatments, then I will. And I do remember she was like, do you want me to set you up with a dietitian? And I was like, I don't think I know that, or I don't think I need that. Here in Canada, a dietitian would follow like the Canada Food Guide. And the Canada Food Guide isn't really a template for how a woman living with lipedema should fuel her body. So I wasn't interested in that. But when I discovered lipedema, I was like, my mind was blown. Because here, my whole life, I just assumed it was me. Like, I went through periods of my life where I ate very little. Like, I tried every diet you can possibly think of. Atkins when I was in university, the Mediterranean, which some of these things that I tried likely would have worked if I had have kept going. However, in conjunction with other conservative therapies, you don't see a loss in your legs. So I was never seeing a weight loss in my legs. Like, I could get pretty thin, but not from the waist down. And so when I discovered lipedema and I began immersing myself in the research and the medical journals, I was like, oh my goodness, it's my body betraying me. And in a lot of instances, it wasn't something that I could control with just diet and exercise without knowing that I had lipedema, if that makes sense. Because once you know you have lipedema, then you can look for very specific exercises that assist you with your lipedema, as well as different diets that will support an anti-inflammatory, which will be anti-inflammatory. And so I do want to share one of the most powerful exercises you can do is just being in the water. So swimming, water aerobics, amazing. Water walking is something that a lot of people recommend. And that is because the water provides compression. And when you have this compression, it helps to move that lymphatic fluid so then your body doesn't begin to store that fluid in your fat and then it becomes lipedema. So that is a very simplistic way of me describing how lipedema fat begins to occur in the body. So do not quote me to anyone about that. There's a lot of hypothesis about how lipedema happens and why, etc., but there isn't really a known cause. And so I just want to share that a lot of what I will discuss about lipedema at times is also filtered through how I understand it and have applied it to understanding what is optimal and how I can thrive with lipedema, okay? So my reaction was mind-blown excitement. And I do know a lot of other women's reactions have been devastation. I want to encourage you, if feeling devastated hopeless or down is a feeling that you have felt since you've discovered lipedema, I would invite you to just shift your perspective. Now that you know, you can begin to seek out answers and solutions for you. When you didn't know, it was like hiding a needle in a haystack and then trying to find it, right? There was no direction. I feel like that's a really bad analogy, but when you don't know where you are, it's hard to get to where you want to go. So understanding that I had lipedema created an opportunity for me to really begin very specific practices that would help me, and they were AKA conservative therapies is what they described them as, to support my body and my lymphatic system. So, like I said, if you are one of those women that felt devastated or maybe even feels devastated still, I invite you to try and shift your perspective to one of, it's time for me to find solutions. And in my last video, I talked about some things that you can start right away. One of them is the shaking. And this just helps to get your lymph system moving, flowing, and drinking lots of water, walking. If exercise is something that is challenging for you, sitting on a couch and lifting your legs up and down and even shaking them while sitting is going to be a really good thing for you, as well as legs up the wall. And there's so many other conservative therapies that you can start right away. So if you are someone who also has lipedema and you want to share how you felt when you made this discovery, or this was presented to you by a physician or a vascular surgeon or endocrinologist, feel free to share in the comments, because I do believe the more we share our stories, the less alone we feel. Talk to you soon. Bye.